Hello, this is Dr. Jason Munsell. It is about 11:45 on Wednesday, July 19th. Hope that you are having a fabulous day. I emailed you this morning. I've gotten through a few more of the papers or the debates. I looked over the most recent threads and tweets this morning, and I put a new form up regarding caregiver stuff, chapter 5. So take a look at that. And what I want to do today is cover the rest of chapter 4 for the most part, and then get to 5 tomorrow. But hopefully you're out there. Hi. Okay, so last time I made you wait, and I'm sure you were highly anticipating this next lecture. So, oops, the doctor will see you now. You remember the Spice Girls? I'm a Spice Spice patient. So, what do patients want? How does that song go? Tell me what you want, what you really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Okay. Look at them, they're so spicy. Spice patient. Okay, so back to the satisfaction stuff. What do patients want? What do they really, really want? Well, I'll tell you what they want. What they really, really want. Spicy. Ooh, that was satisfying. Yeah, okay. There's sections about attentiveness and respect. Yeah, that's cool. This is important. Oftentimes you will learn when I think something is important, I will say, this is important. Patient satisfaction is more closely linked to caregivers' communication than to technical skills. This may be because it's difficult to judge technical skills, but people tend to assume that caregivers are technically competent. They've gone to med school, they know their stuff. So folks are judged at how good they are at communicating, folks as in caregivers. So it's really, really interesting. So there's lots of interesting information here about attentiveness and respect, people feeling that caregivers are offering them dignity, and they don't like their dignity to be compromised. There's several different areas in here about issues of invasions of privacy that folks don't like, discourteous or disrespectful communication that folks don't like, compromised appearance. Patients typically report feeling most dignified when they are allowed to wear their own clothing and jewelry. I disagree with that. I like the stuff, the hospital, the gowns. Sometimes I'll just, if I'm feeling sort of, I don't know, just sort of put on a hospital gown, just run around my house. Okay. Convenience. Obviously, we live in the world of 7-Eleven and Circle K and El Cheapos, and all. We want everything to be super convenient, like this delicious Mountain Valley sparkling spring water. So convenient because I got it at the convenience store. It tastes like a mountain and a valley all at the same time. I'll let you read about the convenience, but patients like it when things run smoothly. Right. So streamlining paperwork and all that type of stuff. You know as well as I do, all the red tape. Patients want a sense of control. Yeah. So the big wish list, what folks want. I really like the boxes and the lists in this particular chapter. So page 81, this is what patients want, what they really, really want. Attentiveness, respect, convenience, privacy, empathy. You know what empathy is? And doctors feel, I know where you're coming from. A sense of control and genuine care. Not, I'm just a random person. So pretty interesting stuff there. And by the way, when I was reading the forum post this morning, I have seen a trend in your response to the number 3, and that is most everybody thinks that we should be moving toward that more collaborative model. No, I haven't seen anybody say we should go back where, you know, the doctor is in complete control, that asymmetrical relationship. Which is interesting because all this stuff, for the most part, is about, you know, creating that more collaborative type of relationship through our communication. And so all this stuff is just really, how do we do this stuff via communication? So how do patients and caregivers work together to make sure that folks get what they want for Christmas on their wish list? Whatever. So, okay, that's some interesting stuff. Then there's another section, can't see that, on cooperation and consent. So, well, one thing that it's a two-way street, right? You know, we can't really say that, you know, doctors are bad at all this stuff, and that they are the problem. Patients too are the problem. Tasha, I think you mentioned something about that in your thread. But in any case, so we want collaboration. We want all that stuff, but sometimes we don't even do what the doctor asks us to do. Lose 10 pounds. They can go eat a bag of chips. So it's pretty interesting how the book talks about that only 50 to 60% of us follow medical advice completely or most of the time. Some of the advice we are prone to ignore involve avoiding dangers and unhealthy behaviors. Yeah, we're humans, we're stupid. Undergoing recommended health screenings, seeing specialists, making regular doctor's appointments, taking prescribed drugs as directed, exercising often, eating healthy foods, and so on. Yeah. And it's curious why we don't just do what the folks tell us to do. Why do we not? Well, there's another little list. On page 83. Patients may not follow medical advice for any of the following reasons. Sometimes it's impossible or practical. Impractical, not practical, impractical. I don't have time to do all that much exercise. I've got kids to deal with, and I can't afford to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's amazing how eating healthy, it's more expensive than, getting a Big Mac or a Whopper or a Big Whopper. If they combine, it would be sort of cool. You could get Big Mac and a Whopper, just crunch it together. So, unaffordable, or I said that, can't afford to do all this stuff. Unclear understanding. I'm sort of confused about what the caregiver told me to do. I don't know, so I'm not going to do it, or I can't do it because I don't understand it. Culturally or personally unacceptable. I can't. I was reading a story about a gentleman who had horrific heart problems. He apparently couldn't walk 10 feet, but something about his religion, he couldn't have surgery. So, because he was all blocked up, and so apparently he worked with the caregiver to find some sort of alternative, and it worked. So, but sometimes you just, because of your belief system and whatever, your culture, I can't do that. Diagnosis seems incorrect. Sometimes, that can't be right. Treatment seems unneeded or unhelpful, and unpleasant side effects. I don't want to do this. I don't want to take these drugs because first, I'm just making money for the big pharmacy companies, and second, it's like those commercials. They have all these, commercials for drugs, blah blah blah, and they always look so happy. I've talked about this before. It's like, ooh, it's fun to take drugs for like that. Have you seen the I don't know if it's genital warts or something like that, but they look like they're having so much fun. I mean, they're going canoeing and hiking, and it's like, I want genital warts. I mean, that would be so cool. Yeah, I could go hiking, everybody's all happy. And then they have at the end of these commercials, may cause death, and may cause diarrhea, blah, 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 death. So sometimes the side effects are worse. So, in any case, lots of different reasons why we do not follow what our caregivers tell us to do. So even as we want collaboration, we want all this stuff, sometimes we are our own worst enemies as patients. There's another section on care providers investment, and that's basically the idea that sometimes cooperation isn't always there, has a lot of potential side effects, and even caregivers can be damaged if they consistently screw up. So we're in this together. When patients and health professionals don't see eye to eye, the following adverse effects are likely: treatment failures, frustration, wasted time, lost professional reputation or privilege for the caregiver, risks to public health, and death.
It may cause treatment failures, frustration, wasted time, avoidable expenses, loss of professional